Hey everyone, and welcome to the Modern Design Playbook. Today, we're going to explore how those age-old creative principles are getting a massive upgrade with some amazing new AI tools. So whether you're a pro designer or you're just kind of fascinated by what makes visuals work, you are in exactly the right place.
All right, so let's just jump right in with the big one, the most fundamental question of all. What actually makes a design work? Why do some things just click? They grab you, they communicate something instantly, while other stuff, it's just noise.
Well, the answer really boils down to one key difference. If you look here, you'll see that art, well, it's all about expression. It's totally open however you want to interpret it. But design? Nope, design is different. It's communication that has a specific job to do. Its whole purpose is to take something complex, maybe even messy, and make it crystal clear.
And you know what? This need to communicate with pictures, it is not new. Not by a long shot. Just take a look at this timeline. I mean, we're talking about a line that stretches from ancient cave paintings to the Gutenberg press that, basically gave us mass literacy, all the way to Photoshop, and now to the crazy new AI tool stack we have today. So yeah, the tools have changed, like, dramatically, but that core goal, it's always been the same. Get a message across.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we make sure our message lands? Well, it all starts with the universal principles. These are the rules that just don't change. They're like the bedrock of any and all good design. First up, balance. Think of it like a visual seesaw. Seriously, you're basically distributing the weight of everything, objects, colors, textures, to create a design that just feels stable and harmonious. When you get that balance right, the whole thing just feels settled. It feels complete. All right, next up, we've got contrast. And this is your secret weapon for making things pop. By putting different elements right next to each other, like light against dark, or something thick next to something thin, large versus small, you're creating a focal point. It is literally how you tell someone's eye, hey, look here first. Then we have unity. The best way to think about this is like teamwork, but for your design elements. It's that feeling you get when everything on the page just belongs together, like it's all working toward the same goal. Get unity right, and your design feels whole, not like a jumble of random parts thrown together. And how do you build that unity? A lot of the time, it's with repetition. This is all about strengthening a design by tying all those individual pieces together. When you use the same color, or the same font, or a similar shape over and over, you create a kind of rhythm. And that reinforces the whole message. And last but not least, there's movement. This is all about the path your viewer's eye takes as it moves through the piece. You're leading them, often towards those focal points we talked about. See, a really good design doesn't just sit there passively. It actually guides you on a little journey. So, okay, those are the big picture principles. Now let's get practical and look at the actual tools designers use every single day to apply them. Color, type, and layout. Now, when it comes to color, the medium is everything. It totally changes the game. So for anything on a screen, your phone, your laptop, we use the RGB model. That's red, green, and blue, light being added together to create white. But for print, it's the exact opposite. We use CMYK. That's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black ink that subtracts from a white piece of paper. And here's the takeaway, the really crucial point. Colors on a screen will almost always look way more vibrant than they will when you print them out. Okay, next up, typography. You've basically got three main players. There's your classic, super readable serif fonts. Then you have the clean, modern sans serifs. And for grabbing attention, you've got those big, bold, sometimes kind of wild display fonts. Here's a super simple rule of thumb for you. Just stick to 2, maybe 3 fonts tops. And please, give your text some room to breathe. Seriously, good spacing can be the difference between something that's clear and something that's just chaos. So, how do we arrange all these elements? Well, that's where a strong layout comes in. And this 1-2-3 punch framework, it's just brilliant for understanding how to create a clear hierarchy. Okay, check it out. Level 1 is the hook. Someone should be able to read it from 10 feet away. Level 2 is the info, readable from about 5 feet. And then level 3, that's for the details, when someone's up close. Remember this, if everything is big, then nothing is big. All right, so we've got our principles, we've got our tools. Now let's see how this all comes together in the real world, in a structured, professional workflow, the brand design process.
This right here is pretty much the standard path in the industry. It always starts with a client interview, just to really get what they're all about. Then you pull together a bunch of inspiration into mood boards. From there, you flesh out maybe one or two totally distinct visual directions. And once one is chosen, you deliver the final brand kit. And that thing has everything: color palettes, font rules, the whole shebang. And for decades, that process has been the absolute gold standard. It's just how it was done. But things are changing. We are entering a completely new era, and it's being powered by a pretty revolutionary new set of tools. So, what if that whole process, which can be really painstaking, right? Finding inspiration, creating every single asset, developing concepts, what if you could just supercharge it? Well, welcome to the new tool stock. We're talking about tools like Adobe Firefly, where you can generate totally original assets just by typing a description. It's wild. And then you have platforms like Canva and Adobe Express that are just turbocharging everything from layouts to social media design. Look, this isn't just about doing things faster. This is a fundamental reinvention of the creative process itself. And that brings us to what might be the perfect metaphor for this new era. Design theory remains the map. AI is now the vehicle. This is so important to get. AI isn't throwing out the rulebook. It's more like a high-speed vehicle that helps us navigate that map of design principles way faster and more efficiently than we ever could before. I mean, designers can now test dozens of ideas in the time it used to take to develop just one. And here's a perfect example of that speed in action. On the left, you've got this beautiful scene, right? And on the right, using a tool like Adobe Firefly's generative fill, a product just poofs appears, like magic. The AI handles all the hard stuff, matching the lighting, the color, the shadows, and it creates this perfectly seamless image in seconds. It's incredible. And this manipulation, it goes even deeper. With a feature like Canva's Magic Grab, you can literally just pull a subject right out of the foreground, slap some text behind them, and create this awesome sense of depth, that Z-axis, in just a couple of seconds. Or get this, you can magically lift text right out of a flat image and edit it. These are things that used to take a ton of time and some serious specialized skills. But AI's role here goes way beyond just making pretty pictures. In this example, you're seeing a designer use an AI, something like Notebook LM, as a kind of thought partner. So when a client comes back with some, subjective feedback like, "I just don't like it," the AI can actually act as a defensive shield. It can pull up design theory from textbooks and class notes to help the designer justify their choices with cold, hard, objective principles. And that brings us to our final big question. So we've seen how AI can be a vehicle for creation and even a shield for critique. So as these tools get smarter and more woven into everything we do, are we heading for a future where AI becomes the ultimate creative partner? Now, that is something to think about.